Okay, now we're going to do the second half of solving these equations. So we're given the root equation and we want to solve for x. So like before, if you had the exponent, the root undid the exponent. So now when you have the root, we're going to get rid of the root by doing the exponent. So this is the square root. So to get rid of the square root, we're going to square both sides. So the square root and the squared are going to cancel. X is equal to 8 squared, 64. Okay, now next one, we've got the fourth root. So to undo the root, we do the exponent of 4 to both sides. So the root and the exponent are going to cancel out and we get x equals 3 raised to the 4th. That's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, 81. All right, now this says check your solutions. So I'm going to check my solutions to make sure that it works. Whenever you have a root equation, you want to just make sure that when you plug it back in, it works. So to check, we're going to do square root of my x, which is 64. Does that equal 8? So the square root of 64 is 8. Does that equal 8? Yep. All right, so we checked that one off. So now for my next one, I'm going to check that. Ooh, my handwriting is so messy on this. So we've got the fourth root of my x, which is 81. Does that equal 3? So what number times itself 4 times equals 81? That's 3. So that works. All right. Now on to the next one. We've got the cube root of x plus 1. I'm going to just change that. I think that was the color that I was using. So we've got the cube root of x plus 1. So to undo the root, we're going to do the exponent of 3. So we're raising it to the third. The cube root and the cubed cancel out. So we get x plus 1 is equal to, now be careful, this is 3 raised to the third. So it's an exponent of 3. So that's 3 times 3 times 3. That's 27. This is the one that people get wrong the most. They always write 9 there. So just be careful with that. Last step, minus 1. So we get x equals 26. All right, for number 10, the minus 2 is on the outside. So I'm going to get rid of that first. So I'm going to add 2. So I get the cube root of x equals 2. Now I get rid of the cube root by cubing both sides, raising both sides to the third. So the exponent and the root cancel. X equals 2 to the third. That's 2 times 2 times 2. That's 8. All right, so now we're going to check our solutions to make sure it works. So to check, we've got plugging in 26. So the cube root of 26 plus 1, does that equal 3? So does the cube root of 27 equal 3? Yes, it does. Yay. Okay, so that works. Next one, to check it out, to make sure that it works when you plug it back in. So we've got the cube root of my x, which is 8, minus 2. Does that equal 0? Well, the cube root of 8 is 2. Minus 2 equals 0? Yep, it does. All right, so this one works. All right, fabulous. All right, last two of the worksheet. So we want to get rid of the square root. So I'm going to square both sides. So the square root and squared cancel. We get 2x plus 4 equals 8 squared is 64 minus 4. So we get 2x equals 60. Divide by 2. X is equal to 30. Final answer. All right, number 12. Wow, there's a lot going on outside of the root. So I'm going to get rid of the stuff outside. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 13 to both sides. So we get 4, the cube root of x minus 9 equals 16. I'm going to get rid of the 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. So I get the cube root of x minus 9 equals 4. Now the way I get rid of the root is with the exponent that matches. So the exponent that matches is 3. Cube root, we cube it to get rid of it. X minus 9 equals 4 to the third. That's 4 times 4 times 4. So that is 64. Last step, we're going to add 9 to get the x by itself. X equals 73. Final answer. All right, now we got to check that out to make sure they both work. So to check, we've got the square root of 2 times my x, which is 30, plus 4. Does that equal 8? All right, so that's the square root of 60 plus 4. Does that equal 8? The square root of 64. Does that equal 8? Yes, it does. All right, this one works. Last one, check. So we've got 4 times the cube root of x, which is 73, minus 9, minus 13. Does that equal 3? Okay, there's a lot going on there. So 4 times the cube root of 64 minus 13. Does that equal 3? Okay, the cube root of 64 is 4. 4 times 4 minus 13, does that equal 3? So 4 times 4 is 16 minus 13, does that equal 3? Yep. All right, so they all work for these. So just with the, when you always are raising something to an exponent, especially for the square root, because remember how we used to do plus or minus, you want to make sure that it works just because of the fact of the square root can then cancel out certain things. Okay, so now you guys have some to try on your own. You try the your turn ones.